Hello, good afternoon for the East part of Asia participant and good morning for participant for the West part of Asia. Welcome back again with the session of certification and recertification process for various tiers. As we know that we have APO accreditation body. Here we have APO certification body, which accredited by the APO accreditation body or APO AB, and then we have APO certification scheme, which one of them is the green productivity specialist, and here individual to certify individual or professional in green productivity. The scope of accreditation of the APO AB, APO second person, or APO COP, there is productivity specialist, and then green productivity specialist, and public sector productivity specialist. In this certificate scheme of the GP specialist, we have certification and recertification process of APO certified GP specialist. The requirement for the general, the GP specialist who meet the prerequisite and competency requirement may apply to a CB or certificate body to be certified under the scheme. Details of the initial certification and recertification of certified GP specialists are outlined in Table 8. Here, the Table 8, certification and recertification of APO certified GP specialists. The first column, we have area, and then the second column is duration and requirement. Number 1, for certification. A, GP specialists who meet the criteria outlined in Section 5 are certified under the APO certified GP specialist scheme for period of 3 years for Tier 1 and 5 years for Tier 2. And B, during the period of certification, GP specialists must comply with the Code of Professional Conduct outlined in the Section 6 or equivalent code of conduct prescribed by certification body. And then the recertification. The recertification duration is 3 years from the date of initial certification or recertification for Tier 1 and 5 years for Tier 2. During the period of certification, certified GP specialists must comply with the Code of Conduct outlined in Section 6 or equivalent Code of Conduct prescribed by a certification body. Now, let's have a look the certification process for certified GP specialists. There are 8 steps for the process. The first, training, and then examination, submission of application, and then desktop assessment, panel assessment, evaluation of submitted GP report, approval of certification, and commencement of certification. We will discuss each of the steps in detail. Now let's see certified GP specialist Tier 1. Table 9, we have a certification process for certified GP specialist or Tier 1. This is the first column is a process step and then the activity. The first step is training. The activity A, applicant attend the relevant GP training programs outlined in Section 5 within the 3 years period immediately prior to the application. For the B, for training completed more than 3 years previously, application will be considered if evidence of recent work, experience, and engagement in GP program is presented. Number 2, examination. Applicant passed the competent assessment examination conducted by a CB. In case of failure, the applicant may retake the examination. Number 3, submission of application. Applicant complete the CB prescribed application form and submit it together with supporting document and chargeable fee, if any. And then number 4, desktop assessment. The CB conduct a desktop assessment of the applicant to ensure that all criteria are met and verify the authenticity of supporting document. And then panel assessment. The CB conducts a face-to-face assessment by a panel of assessor to determine the competency of the applicant. Successful applicants are recommended for certification by 2 or more assessors appointed by the CB. Evaluation of submitted report. The submitted GP report is evaluated by 2 or more assessors appointed by the CB. And then step 7, approval of certification. The recommendation for certification of the applicant is approved by designated authority in the certification body. And then each step is commencement of certification. A, the applicant signs undertaking to comply with the rules of the certification body and the code of professional conduct before being issued a code certificate traceable by interested parties. B, certified person progressively documents the required continuous professional development or CPD hours and apply for recertification at the end of 3 years. This is the certification process for certified GP special tier 1. Well, now let's see the certification process for certified master GP specialist tier 2. Here, the first is submission of application, and then desktop assessment, and then panel assessment, then evaluation of submitted GP report, and then approval of certification, then commencement of certification. We will discuss each of the steps in detail. Yeah, here we have table 10, certification process for certified GP specialist, the master GP special tier 2. Here the process step and activity. The first step, submission of application. The applicant complete the CB prescribed application form and submit it together with supporting documents and chargeable fee, if any. And then application need to submit the document stated in section 5.2. Then the step 2 is desktop assessment. The certification body conducts a desktop assessment of the application to ensure that all criteria are met and verify the authenticity of supporting documents. Panel assessment, step 3. If necessary, the certification body may conduct a face-to-face interview by panel of assessor to determine the competency of applicants. Successful applicants are recommended for certification by 2 or more assessors appointed by the CB. And then step 4, evaluation of submitted GP report. The submitted GP report is evaluated by 2 or more assessors appointed by the certification body. And then step 5, approval of certification. The recommendation for certification of the applicant is approved by the designated authority in the certification body. Number 6, or step 6, commencement of certification. A, the applicant signs undertake to comply with the rules of the certification body and the code of professional conduct before being issued a code certificate traceable by interested parties. B, the certified person progressively documents the required CPD hours and apply for recertification at the end of 5 years. This is the certification process for Master GP Specialist. Well, now let's move to the recertification of the GP Specialist and Master GP Specialist. Well, the first one is recertification for GP Specialist Tier 1. Here we have table 11, recertification process of GP Specialist Tier 1. This is the requirement, the area, CPD number 1, or GP project implementation number 2, and client testimonials. So for the CPD, Continual Professional Development, the certified person undertakes a minimum of 90 hours of CPD in the previous 3 years. Activity recognized as CPD include attending courses, conferences, seminar, and workshops, and then participating in technical discussion meetings or similar events, making technical presentation in classes, symposiums, or similar events, and then teaching GP-related courses, undertaking other related activity recognized by the CB. And then number 2, the area is GP project implementation. The requirement, a minimum of 3 GP projects implemented or equivalent to 30 main days of GP implementation. And then for the area 3, client testimonial, the applicant, the GP specialist, submit at least 2 positive testimonials from client from the previous 3 years. Now let's see the recertification for Master GP Specialist Tier 2. Here we have table 12, recertification requirement for Master GP Specialist Tier 2. The area we have the same as GP Specialist, CPD or GP Project Implementation and Client Testimonials. For the CPD, the certified person undergoes a minimum of 150 hours of CPD in the previous 5 years. Activities recognized as CPD include attending courses, conference, seminar, and workshops, and then participating as a resource person in technical discussion meeting or similar events, making technical presentation in classes, symposiums, or similar events, teaching GP-related courses, advocating GP-related policies, publishing books or professional articles, undertaking other related activities organized by the certification body. And then area 2, GP project implementation. A minimum 5 GP project implementation or 50 man days of GP project implementation. And then client testimonials, the certified person submit at least 5 positive testimonial from client from the previous 5 years. This is the recertification requirement for Master GP specialists. Well, now let's see the requirement for the suspension and withdrawal. Certification body or CB will set up a channel for public feedback or complaints on the performance of certified persons. Upon receiving feedback, a certification body independently investigates and establishes a fair resolution. Thereafter, the CB implements the resolution. In the event the certified person is found to have infringed any laws and regulation or the code of professional conduct under this scheme, action including warning, suspension, and withdrawal of certificate may be taken. The recommended disciplinary action based on the nature of infringements are shown in the Annex C. Now let's see the feedback on certification body. Feedback may be made by the third parties or outside parties concerning certification body will be directed to the chair of the APO accreditation body. Well, now let's see Annex C, nature of infringement and recommended disciplinary actions. We have the first column is severity, and then second column is nature of infringement, and then the third column recommended disciplinary action. For the minor severity, the nature of infringement is poor quality of services or failure complete an assignment without an acceptable reason. And then failure to demonstrate impartiality and independence during an assignment. And then accidentally breach of client confidentiality, trade secret, and individual privacy. And then misuse of the APO certification scheme or materials related to scheme. And then other infringements of the code of professional conduct. Here, recommended disciplinary action. The certified person will be allowed to provide feedback on the issue. And then a written warning will be issued if the certified person is found to have infringed the code of professional conduct. For the severity moderate, the nature of infringement is repeated infringements or minor severity. And then misrepresentation by allowing the use of certified persons certification for others to secure assignment. And then infringement of copyright and use of intellectual property of others without consent. The recommended disciplinary actions: counseling interview with a disciplinary panel that may give the certified person another chance by reducing the sanction to a warning or suspension of the certification for up to 12 months and delisting from the public list of certified persons. Certification status will be restated at the end of the disciplinary sanction all certification or recertification rules will apply. And then the third is the severity or major severity. Nature of infringement. Fraudulent practice with full intention to cheat for the purpose of securing the assignment or for monetary gain. Branch of client confidential information for own commercial gains. Falsifying information or documents for applying for certification, job assignment, and various government schemes. Infringement of laws and government regulation. Performing actions that severely affect the image of the APO, APO-AB, NPO, CBs, and the productivity specialist community. The recommended disciplinary action, immediate withdrawal of the certification and delisting from the public list of certified person. Those from whom certification is withdrawn will be barred from application to become a certified person for a period up to 36 months. Here, this is the notes. The APO-AB must be informed no more than 30 days after disciplinary action related to suspension and withdrawal of certification is taken. The notification must include details of the offense and the disciplinary action taken. Well, this is the nature of infringement and recommended disciplinary actions. Well, now let's see Annex D. Certification logos. This is very important. Certified persons are entitled to use the APO certification of person logos specific to their level of certification. The APO certification of person logos features the APO-AB symbol that show the common AP elements of a gear and grains on stock with a check mark at the center. Part of the check mark is a combination of dots indicating the focus on the digital economy. The surrounding slash circle represent the solid foundation of APO certified person in terms of continuous improvement, future orientation, digitalization, and plan, do, check, act cycle, while encompassing the domain expertise, process skills, and competency that APO certified person must demonstrate. The use of logo is subject to the terms and conditions stipulated by CBs and the APO-AB. As shown in the table below, the series of certified green productivity specialist logos features a gradual transition of the topography, i.e., a transition of font types and size. This gradual transition also reflect the transformation and evolution of productivity specialists. The logo candidate that certificate of green productivity specialist is one of the scheme developed under the APO accreditation program. Here, the first is the level of the certification, green productive specialist. This logo, and this is the logo of the master GP specialist. Well, now let's move to the Code of Professional Conduct. Certified GP specialists must always uphold the Code of Professional Conduct in the relation to client, the public, and the provision for improving productivity and the environment. The type of conduct expected are shown in Table 7. Now, let's see the Table 7, Code of Professional Conduct for GP Specialists. The conduct for the first column, and then the demonstration of conduct in the second column. The first conduct, respect for the profession. This is act to reflect the honor of an enhanced public regard for the profession of GP specialists. And number 2, public confidence. Act in a manner that foster confidence in the profession of GP specialists. Number 3, responsibility. Represent the interests of the APO and POs and the wider GP specialists or practitioner community and other relevant parties. Now 4, legality. Advise on and comply with applicable laws and regulation relevant to assignment. Number 5, professionalism. Deliver the intended results and outcomes in a timely, cost-effective manner. Number 6, truthfulness. Disclose details of any conflicts of interest to relevant party if the outcome of assignment may be affected. Objectivity. Maintain an independent, impartial position in decision-making on matters that affect client needs. Number 8, integrity. Respect the right of other professionals in the field by not disclosing proprietary information or methodologies without prior consent. Number 9, confidentiality. Protect all stakeholder information, including all copyrighted materials, and prevent unauthorized access to information. Number 10, efficiency. Optimize all resources to achieve the intended outcomes and complete assignment. And then sustainability. Recommended GP solutions that are compatible with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And then resourcefulness. Mobilize relevant GP improvement solution and resources to ensure the success of assignment. And then proficiencies. Number 13, exhibit the competence required to perform assignment for client and, if necessary, complement with advice and assistance from other party. And then number 14, agility. Demonstrate the ability to respond to changing needs or expectation of client and stakeholders. And then number 15, commitment to continual improvement. Here, adhere to the principles of productivity improvement by evaluating the impact of technical intervention and providing innovative productivity solution. That's all Code of Professional Conduct for GP specialists we have to follow. Thank you very much for your attention. See you again.